My name's Brent, and there is no doubt I'm red.
Hey everybody, my name's April, and I'm blue.
Hi, I'm Clay. I'm very yellow and loving it too, by the way.
My name is Rachel, and I'm green. My kids would probably describe me as easygoing, calm, supportive.
They would say that I like things done a certain way.
They would say forceful, dominant, demanding.
Enthusiastic, very active, lot of words.
Some of my favorite things to do, honestly, is probably nothing.
An ideal weekend for me would be to have an easy morning with not a lot of things going on, just to enjoy a nice cup of coffee with my husband.
One of my favorite things to do is to snow ski out of bounds. I also like to do CrossFit competitions.
I live for good times. I love being around people. The bigger the crowd, the more fun I have.
I have a sense of adventure, but I don't like going into something that's not prepared or planned.
I enjoy being in the kitchen, baking.
Love photography. I love hanging out with my friends.
Most people don't know this about me. I like to quilt.
Dip my toe in the macaroon world for a minute. Quickly got out. That was too much for me.
One of my biggest pet peeves with children is when they don't follow direction.
Picky kids, especially when it comes to eating.
If they ask a ton of questions while I'm trying to give some sort of instruction or answer their first question.
If I put a plate before you, I'm gonna need you to eat what I gave you.
They would say that they're usually scared of me, and I'm okay with that.
My biggest problem is restraint. I have trouble not interrupting.
Sometimes I just want to be easygoing and let loose and not do anything.
I'm Clay, and I am a yellow.
My name's Brent, and I'm red.
My name's April, and I'm blue.
My name is Rachel, and I'm definitely green.
All right, I have to tell you, I loved watching all of you on the videos. Like, to me, it was so evident sessions ago, but I love that you're pinpointing your own temperament, right? Because it's so important that we do that going forward, because we're gonna focus on you guys a little bit. But were those not great? Did you enjoy doing those?
There's no hiding.
There's
Well,
no
the
hiding.
only hiding is I feel like you hid that you knew, but my guess is you knew the whole time.
Yeah, well, and again, I've been doing this for decades. And,
Right.
the thing is, some people will ask me, well, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it like you. Well, listen, I'm not a rocket scientist. All it is I talk about temperaments every single day. And if you're talking about something and applying it, like we've talked about several times, you're gonna become fluent in it.
I mean, it sure helps, the shirt.
Yeah, well, you're wewearing your colors, which is great, because that's gonna help us today. Yes, I think you just
That'd be
wear your
so much
colors.
easier, wouldn't it?
Like, yeah,
I
well.
saw you coming.
No, right?
Exactly.
So we're putting into practice, right? Speaking fluently. But what I want to do today is I really want to immerse us in this practice and really clarifying what this temperament looks like. So what I'm going to ask is, Clay, how does the yellow play out in your life? Tell me about being a yellow dad and a yellow boss. Tell me about, what does that look like?
Well, it's not anything I try to do, that's for sure.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I can try to not, but I just open my mouth and enthusiasm comes out. So.
How does it play out at work? I mean, I even want to back up too after work and ask with the kids.
Yeah.
But let's go to work first.
There's about 70, 75 people on the team that I lead, and I want people to be having a good time, which has been good for me to realize. Not everybody's number one goal is to have a good time. Some people want to accomplish a lot. Some people want to be real precise, and some people want to enjoy the relationships and feel harmony. And so that's been really hard for me to learn, because I'm just like, well, surely you see the world the way I see the world.
Yes.
One of the dangers, or one of the things I've had to watch out for, is I don't like bad news. I run from pain. I run from anything that doesn't feel good. Which, if you want to lead well, you have to be willing to face the facts. You have to be willing to look under the rock and see what's there. And so I feel like that's a learned habit, or a learned skill, of not being afraid of the bad news.
What about your kids? How does that play out as a dad?
It's it's probably not all that different.
Yeah.
I probably want everybody to be having a good time. But there have been times when I've tried to convince our kids that they're having a good time, or gotten frustrated at them when they're not, you know? I asked you a couple sessions ago, Rachel, about do you ever feel like when the yellow child is like after Disney wants to do something fun next, does that ever seem like she's being ungrateful in that moment? That was projection on my part, because I've done that with our kids, you know? I'm like, how are you not grateful for how fun and how awesome and how wonderful and terrific this all is?
Yes.
I want you to experience that and enjoy that. So just, but I think the positive side is I do think we have a home of a lot of laughter and a lot of activity. I mean, they always give me a hard time that I stack up things to do in the day. I mean, I'm not, now especially at this point in life, one of the benefits of being an adult is you don't have to wait for someone else to plan those fun things. I get to plan those fun things.
Plan it.
So, I mean, a Saturday for me, I mean, I am stacking up the good times, just thinking of like all the activities that we can do and where can we go next and what's gonna happen after that. And
How do you feel if one of the kids opts out? Like, it's like, Dad, I just don't want to. Thanks, but no thanks.
we have a green child that opts out a lot, and that's a real challenge.
For you.
Yeah, because I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Exactly.
Why would
That's right. That's exactly right. Because
that's
you
what-
even saying stacking up that makes me want to take a nap. I mean, so I'm going to give
my
this
wife,
to you,
same.
right? I want to give you that
Oh,
to
okay.
you. It's a list of strengths and weaknesses. In the yellow, I want you to tell me the ones that you jump out at you that you think you have.
Yeah, well, I easily makes friends.
Okay.
I remember being a kid, I would see somebody in our class that I would think, I want to be friends with that person. And I remember thinking that in elementary school. And then I remember middle school and high school years thinking, oh, there's not anybody in here that if I didn't have enough time with or enough that I couldn't go make friends with them. That I felt like such an expert at that skill.
Okay.
Shows emotions openly, for
Yes,
sure.
I agree.
I'm very expressive, and I can cry easily in a story.
Yeah.
I enjoy laughing a lot, and those are not the only emotions,
Yeah.
but those are the ones
What
that-
about, which I know you just said you don't like to talk about sad or bad, but what are some of those weaknesses that jump out at you?
Well, the restless energy. That one definitely does. I mean, interrupts and answers. This has been a real challenge for me to not interrupt. Dislikes being alone, easily distracted, can't sit still, short attention span, all those.
Just about all of it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
So this will be interesting. What if I was to give that list to your wife or your children? What would they say the strengths are?
All of these.
They would say the strengths are all of them?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if my kids would say I'm imaginative. I don't necessarily feel that way.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I definitely like adventure, has energy and enthusiasm, shows emotions openly, thrives on compliments. So,
What about your wife? I love that your wife, I think you alluded that you think she's blue.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sure she's blue.
So what are some of the weaknesses she might point out?
We met in grad school.
Okay.
We had a class together, and so we were sitting next to each other. The first class I'm there. The second class I was gone. So I was out that weekend speaking at some event for an organization, and she couldn't believe that I was missing the second class. So that was the beginning of our relationship, and it's just been real similar to that. I mean, I think that maybe a month later, I invited her to go somewhere where I was headed, and she went with me, fortunately, but almost said no because we were gonna have to miss a class. And she does not miss things.
Yeah. Not if she's blue.
I think you even mentioned that blues rarely get things wrong. She does not make mistakes. Now, there have been things that she has tried and not decided I'm not going to do that.
Right.
But she does not decide to do something and not do it really well.
Yeah.
Whereas I take on 100 things, and I'll do about 90 of them. 10 of them I'll have to send a text and say, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm not gonna be able to get to that.
Yeah.
Or just totally forget about it in general.
So I want you to tell me, though, the innate needs, which one do you resonate most with? Remember, it's attention, approval,
I remember them.
acceptance.
Yeah, and then they all start with A, which is so convenient. I feel like you did that just for the yellow.
Just for you guys, and I made it an A, like, you know, right? The beginning of the alphabet, right?
Right, you're like, those insecure people are gonna need the A.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely, I mean, attention.
Okay.
I hate to say it sounds so bad to say I've needed it, but I have needed it since I was a kid. I'm a middle child. I have an older sister, younger sister. They give me a really hard time because we would sit in our dining room on special occasions to eat dinner, and there's a big mirror on the wall, and I would always sit where I could see myself in the mirror.
I love that.
And just make faces, like do different things, up and down, walking up the stairs. I mean, and they just
Making the fun.
Yeah. And they're great. They always, I think they got annoyed by it, certainly, but they also would egg it on as well.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because they were picking at you.
Yeah.
Probably. And then I am so positive too. I reframe anything that could be negative as
into a positive.
into something positive.
Yeah.
So you say they were picking on you. I was like, oh, come on, they weren't. They loved it.
Of course they loved it.
And I'm like, no.
Exactly.
Do you see now, though, when you said that, you said you hated that, you wanted that, but do you give yourself grace now, a little bit, I hope, after our journey, to know that that is unchangeable in you as an adult? Like, that is not something, you could work so hard till you're blue in the face.
Right.
And tomorrow you would wake up needing to fill that.
Yeah.
How does that feel to you?
Gosh, you're trying to go somewhere with this.
I'm just
really interested
very,
in going there.
well, I'm just really curious.
I have accepted the reality of it, but I think that's a really hard thing to be, to not just accept it, but to recognize that it's part of who you are, that it is it's unchanging in a way that.
Would it help you if you looked at the innate need more into the positive definition of it instead of the weakness definition of it?
Yeah, maybe so.
Because really the definition is full focus, right? You want me to stop what I'm doing and turn and listen to you and listen to what you have to say with eye contact. Is that so bad that you want that?
Sure, doesn't seem bad.
No, and again, that's where I want people to see it.
Yeah.
Now, attention in your weaknesses, being obnoxious and over the top and interrupting.
Using charm and flattery. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Tell me a time where you think you've done that.
It was so natural for me to win others over ever since I was a kid. And I remember being about every school year, there would be, especially when you start changing classes and you have multiple teachers,
Right.
there would be a teacher that I could tell was not enjoying the yellow. And I wish I had this language at the time.
Because she was sending off signals, I'm sure.
She probably was, or he probably was, yeah. And I remember at the time thinking, this is so odd. I've never experienced this. But this person, I can tell, they're not picking up what I'm putting down here. Those are moments when I remember using the charm or the flattery, or even sarcasm is another signal. It's probably, sarcasm is probably a cousin of the flattery.
It is, absolutely.
I would use that to, the humor would be more at the expense of someone else as opposed to more pure, clean, good-hearted humor, I guess. So yeah, I certainly remember, and I would remember feeling, I can already tell this person is not really, they're not enjoying what I'm bringing, but now I don't really like what I'm bringing now.
Exactly.
Because I'm not getting in the relationship what I feel like I'm hoping for.
This is what I love about what Clay's saying so far. This is bringing together that all the information we've talked about, you all already know. It's just taking time to pause and kind of think that out, because you chose a weakness. It didn't feel good, but then when you chose to use signals, it felt bad.
It felt worse.
You. It didn't achieve what you wanted it to achieve, right?
No, it absolutely did not.
I love that.
And I feel like that's been one of the most helpful things about this too. I mean, to go back to that line that you used at the beginning, that words have power. The words, even having the words to explain it. I think I knew what the experience was, but I hadn't had the words to explain what happened. And even being able to say, oh, that's charm or flattery or sarcasm or whatever that signal may have been.
Right.
Because there was an unmet need, that alone is so helpful.
Because we do know words are powerful. right? We've learned that. We've learned strengths and weaknesses. We've learned a key of innate needs. And then we learned how aware and intentional we have to be with those signals. So I love that you just talking about stories about you and what you thought, you surfaced every one of those things, right? Brent, tell me, please, how does a red live out in your life? Oof. Are we all so surprised at Brent's shirt? Are we? You wear it so well.
It's so funny. My bicycle as a 6-year-old was red.
There you go.
My car as a 16-year-old was fire engine red.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you were even drawn to that color.
oh, favorite. There was no other colors.
There you go. And there's probably still not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, dad, coach, businessman, how do you see it playing out in your life right now? What does it look like as a dad?
Wow. Well, I know it causes a lot of wounds, right?
Okay.
If I'm working out of my weakness, and you can see it really quickly, doesn't take long for that to show itself. And I'm like, I just saw what my words just did. If you did ask my kids or my wife, they would probably say dominant, or he's very determined and diligent. Once he locks in on something, he doesn't turn loose, and demanding of all of those on the team, whether they've accepted that role on the team or not.
Yeah. So briefly tell me about how that plays out as a coach.
Well, again, I'm looking for something that's going to inspire and bring somebody up, but I'm very demanding, very, very demanding. And I guess where I get sideways with somebody that I'm coaching is when they're unwilling to engage in the process at all. Like they're already quitting before they started. And I've tried to do everything to inspire them, but it's going to take effort on their side as well. Then I really have a hard time okay, where do I need to spend my time?
Right.
Where do I need to plant? Because I give a lot of my time away.
Well, and you're all about prioritizing, right? But everything is important to Red. So I'm going to hand you that. I'm going to have you take a gander at those. First, tell me, if I was to ask your wife, your beautiful wife, what strength she sees off those, what would she say?
Quick to act, self-directed, definitely. Competitive, that would be off the charts. Confident, there's no lack of confidence there. She would not say that I'm good at completing tasks.
Really?
No, because a lot of times she feels like since she's so talented and is a blue, I'll delegate to her because I know it'll get finished.
Oh.
And so she feels like her plate's overloaded.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife, I tell her all the time she could be, somewhere on the prairie 200 years ago, and she could have built the house, milked the cows, planted the fields,
made the clothes,
and taught the kids, all before noon.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't need
Sounds
me.
like quite a woman. Yes. What weaknesses would she say?
Doesn't listen. Loses temper quickly, argumentative, bossy, strong-willed, knows everything, questions authority. That's a weakness.
Yes, that's a weakness.
I love to question authority.
Do you?
He's like, I'd like to question who made this list.
Even when you said about boundaries for Reds, it dawned on me my favorite thing to do is to ski when I go snow skiing is out of bounds. That's where the fun begins.
You ski
out of bounds.
beyond the flags?
Absolutely. That's the best place. That's where the best snow is.
So noted. I want to ask you about the signals. Tell me the last time you yelled at somebody.
Ooh. Yeah, but yelling, can't that be part of conversation? Just normal conversation?
Any of the signals you pick, when's the last time you think you were in that part of it?
Gosh, I'd like to think it's a long time ago, years.
Yeah.
But probably days.
Okay. Tell me what.
I'm thinking it was probably with my yellow daughter.
Okay.
Which was probably not very good, and it was over discussion of a class that she's doing dual enrollment. Keep it or drop it. and I had very, very specific ideas of what she should do with that class.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so her response was something, and then you
Yeah.
did what?
I thought that she was going in a direction that she shouldn't go. Mm-hmm. And so.
There's that intense love, you know, that it's like, I want it so bad for you.
But unfortunately, what you're saying is it went to tone and volume.
Tone and volume.
Do people ever tell you you're yelling when you think, that's not yelling? Let me show you what yelling is.
All the time. I mean, because you can see him move back with the body language.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not yelling.
I've got more to give.
This is the way I talk.
Yeah, I can lean in even more.
Yeah.
So, yes, plenty of tone and volume. Plenty
There you
of
go.
tone and volume.
There
It
you go.
is.
So, April, please tell me what it looks like, because I am also blue, but I would love to hear another blue talk about what does life look like from a blue mom.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's not like Eeyore blue. It's not,
I agree.
Sad or ho-hum. It's not that at all.
That is a misconception,
It's a
isn't
huge misconception. It's not. I'm not sitting around crying and thanks for noticing me. That's
Pretty good Eeyore.
yeah, that's not me at all. But I am sensitive.
Yes.
I am sensitive to tone and volume. I am sensitive to words. Words hurt me. Being understood is important. And time.
Interesting.
Time is important to me.
Being on time.
No, no.
Yeah. See,
I mean,
another misconception.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind, I'm going to get there, but it's not that. It's more so time. So I don't necessarily need a whole bunch of people around, but I love one-on-one, deep,
Oh, more quality time.
more quality time type deal. So I want to talk to you, get to know you. I want you to talk and get to know me. I hate being cut off or disregarded because it makes me feel like I have no value. So, I would say as a mom, it's challenging depending on, I guess, what type of kid you have. So like I have a red son that was a little bit of a challenge, but my blue son, I felt like, and I almost even hate to say it, it was just a little easier with him. My red son went away to boarding school and my blue son stayed home with me. So we were chilling. Like we were good. We could sit around. We could watch Andy Griffith. We'd be fine. Or we'd watch our musicals and be real cool. And then when the holiday would come and my oldest one would say, hey, I'm coming home, we'd have to prepare ourselves. Like, okay, look, your brother's coming home. So he's gonna he's gonna get louder around here, like all that kind of stuff. So
Just curious, in a professional standpoint, what does that look like for you?
You want the people that you work with to get it. So, of course, there's expectations that, like if I give you an assignment or a follow-up, I want you to come back and do it. But it can be super challenging because when things don't work out the way you might set up or expect it to work out, again, it's that looking at yourself and saying, what did I do wrong? How am I not measuring up? I had one client, she was 16. And I started seeing her and things were going well. Like it seemed like everything was fine and we were making progress. And, I enjoyed seeing her from week to week. And then one day I'm out doing something and I get a text message from her mother and it said, so-and-so is gone. And I was like, what do you mean she's gone? And she had committed suicide and I'd just seen her.
Wow.
Maybe not even a week before. And that was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be hard for anybody.
That would be hard for anybody.
but I'm guessing you
because
yourself
because
up?
I felt like I just saw her a week ago. What did I miss? And why
didn't see that
I didn't see
Wow.
I didn't
There you go.
plan for that. My plan was we were gonna go, we're gonna see each other for this amount of months, she's gonna get better and all this other stuff. But What do you mean she's gone? Like, I literally kept looking at my phone like, my phone does not say this. And I went to the house and I drive around the corner and there's cars everywhere and it hit me.
Yeah.
That was hard. So measuring my value as a counselor then, I had to really wrestle with that. So just combating those, a lot of that processing. Okay, what did I say? What did she say? What did I miss? All those types of things. So that can be challenging.
And I love that because I relate to you in the fact that when you talked about your children, you talked about sensitivity and creativity and doing things together and that. And then when you move to the business, that's what's unique about the Blue is that they are artistic and creative and musical, but they also are logical.
Yes.
And analytical and detailed and orderly. And when you talked about your business, you could literally see the shift in the words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to go a little bit deeper, young lady. Well, there you go. There's your list.
Okay.
And I know you're a processor, so I'll give you 2 seconds to look at it.
So generous.
All right. So maybe 3. Oh, look, she's already checking. I love it.
Of course.
So
She loves the list.
what? Tell me for you.
For me, what I see in myself.
Yes. What do you see?
I would say creative, artistic, and musical.
Yeah.
Sensitive, emotional, aware of people's feelings, likes structure and routine.
Oh, tell me a little bit about the weakness side.
Moody.
Okay.
I guess somebody might say that. Moody. A little worried or fearful, which I hate to admit that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm socially awkward.
Yeah. Most Blues do.
I would never say that ever.
But here's the thing. Let you even sit on that for a minute. Most Blues feel socially awkward.
Wow.
Remember we said earlier, most Blues feel like they're odd. Like they just don't quite fit in.
Feel odd?
I've always felt odd.
And most Blues you talk to will feel that way. So
It's just amazing.
That's why I like the Ugly Duckling story by Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes.
I mean, but to hear you tell a story and the way you command the room and everybody's in on it, I'm like, how's that awkward? That seemed...
Because what are you feeling when you walk away from that? Kind of, because I already know.
I'm immediately judging everything I did, and did I say it right? Did I not say the right thing? What are they thinking?
There you go. What are they thinking?
You said earlier, like a Blue holds their emotions close. Is there a lot more emotion going on than inside of you than what you project out and wherever you're?
Yeah, I think as an adult, I have learned to manage my emotions, but they are there. They are definitely there, and
Sorry, I'm laughing because I don't have any other than the ones you saw. And then for you, I'm like, whoa, you got all that under there? I had no idea. Oh, this is so good for my marriage.
This is good for your marriage because if there is a group talking, she and I are going to think, what are they thinking? What's wrong? Is my slip showing? Is my hair? You're thinking, oh my gosh, they must like me.
Yeah, they're loving it.
They want to know who I am, right? So it's just even in that thought process. Space, silence, support, sensitivity, safety. Which one? They all belong to you.
Yes, they do.
But which one do you relate with the most?
I think space and silence.
Okay.
Especially with my, I have to process.
Yes.
So I can't process.
On your own?
On my own. If I want to process with somebody else, I'll ask or I'll seek that out. But more often than not, I need to understand first before I engage someone else. And I need space for that. So sometimes if even if my husband wants to talk about something, I'll be like, and I'll be taking my time and because I need to think through it. But I would rather go in my office, close my door, and just I need space and silence.
And I know you have a Blue wife too, so you must have a question.
You could have saved me so many arguments by that, because if we have a disagreement, right, I want finality. I want to get to the end of it and whatever it takes to get there. And she's running away, putting a door between us, saying, I need to be away from you right now. I need silence and space. And I'm like, but I can fix it. We can fix it.
But I don't want you to fix it.
See, that's what I want you to ask her. What is she doing? She doesn't want you to fix it.
Yeah,
The boo
sometimes
wants
you
to think.
just want to kind of, I guess, emote. I don't know. You just want to kind of get it out. And I do that. Like if I'm upset or if I'm processing something, I am a cleaning fool. I will go around and I will put my earbuds in but I will clean. I just need to make stuff orderly. I need to create my structure and all that other kind of my safe space, because when things are chaotic, I can't
It's
function.
overwhelming.
It's too overwhelming. So yeah.
So I love the fact, space and silence. I completely relate to you. Tell me a time, though, that you know you've went to moods or silence.
Probably, I think you mentioned it earlier. Well, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing. I know something's wrong. I'm fine. And just like you said, it's just that I do want the 20 questions. It's almost like I want you to come figure it out. Like you got to know what you did. Come on, don't act like you don't.
That's the
know.
worst,
And so
isn't it?
I kind of just
What did you just say?
That's the worst. I mean, guessing what your punishment's going to be.
Yeah.
How bad did you mess up?
And then, yeah. So I'll get that way, and I'm just like, nothing. Are you sure? But everything on me will just kind of be like, you're lying, but you need some time. Yeah.
That was a lot of attitude.
And I try not to have it, but I will. I'll get moody, and next thing you know, what's wrong with you? Nothing. And it's just, and yeah.
So you see now
I do see
that's a very empty tank. Because did that give you the sensitivity or support you really wanted?
No, because I don't want to have an attitude. I don't want to be that crabby.
Kind of.
That's not me. I don't want to be that girl. I just like you said. Yeah, I don't want to be
the same thing.
I don't want to. That doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make me. Because then I'm judging myself for being ugly.
Yes.
And I don't want to be ugly. I don't feel like there's anything ugly about me, but I do want to be heard. And so if I feel like I haven't been heard, then it's almost like a shutdown.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that story because I can so relate to that. My favorites, my greens.
Hot seat.
Tell us. Hot seat. This is how
feels like.
This is
How
so,
much do you love it?
I know.
You love all the
so you love the attention. This is so about you, though, because we want to know what it's like in the life of a green. Like, especially for these other temperaments that don't have a green thought, really. Tell us what it's like to be a green mom and a green teacher. What's
I was listening and thinking about, as y'all were answering and listening. I think having 3 kids, like if I think about it right now, there's a lot about my life that feels like it moves at a pace that I can't keep up with sometimes. But that's, of course, happened over time as responsibilities have grown and stuff. But I'm still who I am. I still look for the people in my life.
Okay.
I still really care about my friends and my family. They sometimes comment that I'm the one to call and say, hey, how are you? I was thinking about you. That's something that I do often. As a teacher, I really see my students. I try and connect with them, not just on the material that I'm talking about, but who they are. I see so much of being people-oriented, like you said, that drives every job that I've had, every role that I've had. I really, even if I'm sitting in a cubicle, in the past, if I'm sitting there doing a task, I'm still enjoying it most when I'm doing it with someone. That's just always been who I am.
Yeah.
And that's true with my kids. It sometimes feels challenging to be the authority and create structure that I know my family needs to juggle and manage all the things that it takes to run a family like that.
Yeah.
To clean the house. I'm not that good at cleaning the house. I want to be, but sometimes that feels overwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. And I love that she said, greens, I feel, are the best leaders of people by far.
Well, because you're always thinking about them.
Always
how
thinking
incredible is
I
that?
feel like the people aren't the challenge, the tasks
Yes.
that it takes
But
to
you care
create.
about the people,
I
which
do.
makes you a great leader of
Well,
people, right?
But when we showed up, she was the first one sitting here, and I was like, "Well, you're early," and you said,
I don't want to let anybody, I want to be here on time.
See? Yeah.
"Is it hard to register your kids for stuff in the summer?"
I am always behind. I think there were 3 baseball seasons where my husband was like, I want him to play baseball. I'm like, okay. And then I'd miss it. And then I have to, my calendar is a really helpful tool as long as I look at it. It's really bad. Just timers.
Yeah.
A lot of times with time, I've found for me, I don't always feel the passage of time. I think like other people, my husband is so good about making a list and everything is a priority. You said that
Yes.
earlier to Brent.
Yes.
It's a high priority. I think I swing the other way and it's like, I'll always have time. I'll be able to pull that out at the last minute or always wanting to do more than I can. And sometimes I think I put other people's priorities ahead of mine because I see
Yes.
what they want to accomplish. So I want to help people, my kids, my husband, my friends. I want to give something to them, and so I'll do something for them that will then mean that I don't have enough time. I will always choose. That's choosing the person over the task
Yes.
for me. I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
And I'll like kind of back myself in a corner, and then that ends up being just it's overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
I kind of get to a dead end, and a lot of times a failure, like on something that was my responsibility. So I that's a weakness I think because as much as I don't want to let someone down, sometimes I do let them down because what I've said I would do, I don't because I've put something else ahead of it
Yes.
that maybe wasn't the best priority for the time.
Yeah.
So how do you get out of a corner like that as a green?
Sometimes I stay up really late.
The last minute, the procrastination, I
Yeah.
guess? Is that-
When she said greens work at the beginning or at the end of the time frame, I really resonate with that. Oftentimes I'll have plenty of time to do something, but other things fill up that space. And so I don't want to be last minute. I don't really even enjoy being last minute. I want
Yes.
to be the first one here or the first one to get in my, this is a great example, my lesson plans for school. But I'm often late at that because I've put I feel other people's priorities, so I want to help them get there. And especially being a mom, I think I feel that with my kids. That's what I want to be for them is
Yeah.
on their team.
On their team. Will you pass this to her, please?
Gladly.
Thanks so much.
Yes. And I know you love being put on the spot, just like
Yep.
our blue friend here. So tell me, when you look at that, what do you think about yourself when you look at the strengths and the weaknesses?
Well, I saw the struggles to decide, so that's going to
Okay.
be
Which
and the
is what-
weakness, that's a weakness. But
Let me tell you, 100% of the time, if I hadn't coached these people, adults usually look at the weaknesses first. It's just innate. But what do you see there?
good friend, I think I said that. I mean, I know that about myself. I really, that's a value. Calm. I'm good under pressure and kind of bring calm to a circumstance.
Yes.
Content. I like that about myself, that I can be happy. Kind of, I said earlier, I think that I don't care or I don't have a preference. My husband and I say, I'm happy with anywhere on the road. He wants to be like in a certain place, in a certain lane. But I'm happy over here, going to this restaurant or that, like,
Yes.
It's okay. I'll eat again. It's fine.
What about weaknesses, Rachel?
Oh, and good listener.
Yes.
I definitely think that about myself. Weaknesses. Messy, if I'm honest. That doesn't come naturally to me. Stubborn is in there. I can tend to be unmotivated. Just knowing that something has to be done and not having the motivation to get it done can be a struggle. I kind of have to gear myself up for things sometimes.
What if I was to ask your husband or your children?
About strengths or both?
Pick a couple strengths and a couple weaknesses.
I think my husband would say I'm witty. That's on here, and
Oh.
that's true. I can be funny. He says I'm one of the funnier people he knows.
Yeah.
But I don't, it doesn't always come out. I'm not it's more one-liners
Yes.
probably. I'm calm and patient. He says he wishes he had some of that. And kind. I think they would say those things.
What about weaknesses?
I think one that sticks out on here is unenthusiastic. When my kids are, especially my yellow, who's excited, or, well, any of them, I'm thinking about it honestly, I think I kind of tend to like, okay, yeah. Like I don't always get excited about it as much as they want me to be, or it doesn't, I'm excited for them, but it doesn't register. I can't like kind of manufacture enough energy around it. If we do something awesome, I don't say, that was amazing, I'm like, oh, that was fun, and then we move on to the next thing, or I'm thinking about how is everyone else enjoying it more than making sure that I express it.
Now, remember, I'm married to a green, so I've literally for 32 years had to say, now, did you have a nice time?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But then he'll go, oh my gosh, I had a blast.
had a
It was the
great
best time, best weekend ever. And I'm like, okay, really? Let me make a note of
I
that.
hate-
I have no idea.
I hate that it doesn't register. I want it to. I want my presence to show gratitude. I think that's maybe what it looks like as an adult, is that I'm not always, it doesn't always register outwardly.
Okay. The innate needs, respect, feeling of worth, harmony, lack of stress. Which one do you relate with the most?
Respect and feeling of worth.
Okay.
I think, in all of the circumstances when I am trying to lead, sometimes I don't always, when there's questions back about what I want to do or a plan that I have, and I have a very colorful family, I think, there's always somebody who's trying to say, well, what if we do this? Or what if this is better? And if I've gone to the trouble of planning something and put effort and energy and motivation into it, then sometimes I just don't feel respected if they don't follow along, or if there's questions or feedback or
anything.
anything.
It really takes a hit at value, doesn't it? Yeah. I think that was so articulately said. So the last time that happened and it threw you into signals, I am very curious, because I know greens are so consistent, right? And you've said it a couple times. They can take the dripping for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right? Where we are very responsive quickly, all of us, these two the quickest, the green can take for a very long time until they're backed into a corner. So
That's what I wanted to ask. Do you ever just snap?
yeah.
Enough of all of this.
I wish I could say no, but my children and my husband would tell you yes.
Like,
Okay,
if I were there, I would just be cheering.
Wanting to know what
I think
that
though
looks
it doesn't always look like, my snap might not look like
different than
Brent
Brent's?
Motivating someone, coaching voice. It would
Yes.
look really different, but I think it's such a jarring or stark difference from my normal attitude that it comes, I don't even know that I'm being backed into a corner. I don't feel it coming at all until
You're there.
I
It's on
just
you.
am there. Yeah.
So you're either going to fight or you're going to flee. That's what that's going to look like, right? Can you tell us a story?
I was trying to think of one. It does, I don't mean to say it doesn't happen very often, because to say I'm great, but it doesn't happen all that often.
Yes, I can see that.
I'm thinking about sometimes in the leaving for vacation or trips or things. Aren't those the times when we all are totally ourselves? So the pressure of all of that, and in my family, my husband will pack himself, but then I'm in charge of all three kids, like making sure most of them are packing for themselves, but making sure there's all the things. And my yellow hasn't just packed fun things, a swimsuit for a ski trip or something like that. But we went camping a while ago and leaving for that, because not only did we need to have clothes and things like that, we were taking our own food, and it was a level that felt overwhelming to me. And the questions were coming, and my husband was like, are you sure you had enough of this? Or, like he was kind of in the details and had given me that responsibility, and I was working really hard to make this all happen for everyone, when honestly, RV camping for me is a lot of work, and not a lot of lack of, that's just not lack of stress, right? So leaving, there was all these questions, and I just finally kind of snapped and just lost it and said, you either you think I can do this or you don't. But it wasn't tone or volume. It was just, there is certainly the times that I get to a place where I'm like, I'm either going to lash out or I'm going to withdraw completely. Yes. And it's one or the other.
Yes. And I love that you said that about your yellow packing, because I can remember letting Avery pack, and I looked at it, and when I left, there was clothes in her bag. But when we got to our destination and I opened it, there was only a suitcase full of Barbies. That's it. Not one stitch of clothes was even in the bag. So I get that perfectly. So I am sure over these last sessions, we've had some aha moments. Any of them right at the tip of your tongue that you want to share? Because this has been a lot of information.
Well, I love what you keep saying, that
Yes.
Even if you feel like you're behind, you're not. You're learning it now, and that's the time.
Yep.
So
I love
the
that too.
future starts now.
I love that too.
And that, the role or the responsibility or the job is not to fix. Nobody's broken. Nobody's wrong. Everyone is equally wonderful. It's just a matter of learning and appreciating. So I think my aha was like, okay, you've been trying in some respects to fix. Like something, like somebody or whatever is wrong, and that's not the case. And that's
a huge aha
a
moment.
huge aha.
Yeah.
I feel I need a board of directors with everybody here, right?
That it would be so nice. Have all the colors represented during the pause.
And then just bring up, hey, here's the relationship, here's
Yeah.
what I think they are, and then listen.
Yeah. Like, who wants to be a millionaire? Can I phone a friend? Can I call a
What should I
dream and
say?
find out what to say?
I hear you saying that, oftentimes I focus on what I'm trying to say, or as we're coaching or we're counseling or whatever, we're focused on the what we're trying to impart. But really, if we focus on the who first, then we can communicate so much more effectively what we're trying to say.
Yes, which is exactly what I want to say to you. Understanding the temperaments is going to help you intentionally pick words that build up instead of unintentionally picking words that tear down, right? So next week, we're going to talk about what happens when your temperament bumps up against your children or the children that are around you.